My wife is not the woman I used to know. She let the fame get to her. I met my wife when I was 15 in high school. She was 17. The latter part of my teenage years was probably the hardest of my life. In just half a year, I lost my mother. I never knew my dad, so she was the only family I had. My wife and I were only friends at the time, but she was there for me, grieving with me. I think I started developing feelings for her during that period. We started dating when I was 17 and got married 7 years later. For context, my wife was always very frugal and unmaterialistic. She never cared about clothes, makeup, brands, or cars, always spending money at thrift shops or waiting for sales. I remember trying to impress her with my 370Z, only for her to react with, "What car is this? A Corolla?" So yeah, I think you get the point. But that's what I loved about her the most. She was the most caring person I had ever known. In our family, she was the successful one, always working in big corporations. As for me, I worked as a community first responder for my local hospital. The salary wasn't high, but I loved my job and the fulfillment of helping people. Fast forward 2 years ago, she received an offer from a major company for an executive position, offering 4 times her salary, which was already good. The catch: we would have to move to a different city. At first, I hesitated because it meant losing my job and not being able to contribute financially to our family for an indefinite period. But she assured me that she could effortlessly support us with her new job, and in the meantime, I could take care of the house and groceries until I found new work. She was so enthusiastic about it that I agreed. I was happy to support my wife's career in the best way I could. But what happened next was shocking. My wife underwent a complete transformation. She started caring more and more about luxury, brands, jewelry, cars, and more. Imagine my disbelief when she came home with a Versace bag after years of wearing $10 coats from our local thrift shop. She also started spending a lot of time with her new female coworkers. My wife was never extroverted or particularly social, so this was quite surprising. Still, I was happy for her. I thought she had finally found her place after years of struggling. But that happiness didn't last. She started coming home later and later each day, to the point where even talking to her for 10 minutes felt like a miracle. I assumed she was busy with work. After all, being an executive is demanding. But then she began posting photos with her coworkers, drinking, shopping, and going out. The fun part: she never found time to reply to my texts, yet she always had time to post photos. And when she did reply, she would claim she was too busy working. Then, the biggest shock. Have you ever experienced your spouse leaving for work in an Audi A3 and coming back home in a Porsche Macan GTS? Because I did, and let me tell you, it's no fun. I confronted her, asking if it was a business-issued car. It wasn't. Then I asked why she would spend so much money on a car when she never cared about them before. Her passive-aggressive response? "It's my money, and I'm entitled to do as I please." Or have you ever experienced your spouse not coming home for a night, not replying to texts, only to call the next afternoon saying they forgot, to tell you they left for a business trip? I hope you haven't. But the worst part? The day she invited me to lunch with her coworkers. I was ecstatic. It was the first time in months that we'd be doing something together. I thought that maybe everything I had been experiencing was just a phase, and that it was finally over. She left first because of work, and 2 hours later, I dressed up nicely and headed to the restaurant. For context, I had sold my 370Z years ago since I no longer needed a sports car. My daily driver is a humble Renault Clio. I like it, and since I don't need anything fancy, I never felt the need to upgrade. When I arrived, I parked in front of the restaurant and walked inside, only to see my wife staring at me horror-stricken. She immediately got up from the table, dragged me outside, and proceeded to insult me for parking my Clio in front of the restaurant, in front of her table. She said I had embarrassed her and that I should have parked somewhere hidden. I was completely at a loss for words. When I asked her why, she simply said, "Because it's a cheap, non-luxury car that doesn't represent my lifestyle." Then she went back inside, warning me not to embarrass her like that again. I sat through the rest of the luncheon in shock. That day, I realized that the woman sitting across from me wasn't my wife anymore. She wasn't the woman I married. Right now, she's out celebrating a great year for her company, and I'm sitting at home with divorce papers in front of me. I don't think I can handle this situation any longer. I've tried countless times to talk to her, to tell her how I feel, to tell her that she's changed, that she's not the same woman I knew. But she doesn't listen. She always says she has no time, that she needs to work, or she tries to downplay it, insisting that nothing has changed. She wanted kids. Now she doesn't, because they would take time away from her career. She wanted to travel. Now she refuses, for the same reason. Is she really the same woman I married? And yet, I still can't bring myself to talk to her about divorce. Maybe because I hope that somewhere, hidden deep inside, the woman I loved still exists. Even if it doesn't seem like it anymore.